Hey Bobcats, I hope you're doing well. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take supplementary and complementary angles to the next level. We're going to be using some algebra to solve some angle measure problems. If you are taking notes, you can pause this and set up your page. The rest of us, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to start with complementary angles, and I want to make a note real quick so we don't forget. Okay, complementary angles add to 90 degrees. So we can say the measure of complementary angles add to 90 degrees. Okay? So let's go ahead and do an example now so that we can see what I'm talking about. We're going to start with a review example first, just to make sure we're on the same page and we understand what complementary angles are. So I have my straight edge here. I'm going to draw the picture first, and then I'm going to give you some information, and then we're going to solve it. Okay, we're going to give this a name. Okay, and this problem is also going to tell us that the measure of angle ABD is equal to 32 degrees. And we want to find the measure of angle DBC. Hopefully you have this down at this point, but we're just making sure. Okay. So if angle ABD is 32 degrees, ABD, this is 32 degrees right here. Okay. So, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it X. So we're going to say that 32 degrees plus the measure of this angle right here, X, equals 90 degrees. And I forgot my little box here, but that box tells you that these are perpendicular lines. This is a 90-degree angle. So the way I'm going to set this up is I'm going to say 32 degrees, this angle right here, plus the measure of this angle, X degrees. Altogether, we know that this is going to be 90 degrees. Okay, and now we're just going to solve it like we would solve an equation, because this is an equation. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 32 from both sides. And we get that X is equal to 58 degrees. Okay, so there we have it. We found that the measure of angle DBC is equal to 58 degrees. Now we're going to look at another example. This example is going to get into a little bit more algebra. I'm going to scoot this up. All right. I'm going to draw a picture of what we're looking at first. Okay, and we are told that the measure of this angle is 20 degrees. The measure of this angle is 2x degrees. Let's go ahead and give these angles a name. W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so we are going to find X. And we are going to find the measure of angle WXY. Okay? All right, so let's talk about what we know. We know that this is a right angle, which means that these two angles are complementary angles. They add to 90 degrees. This angle right here, WXY, is 2x plus the measure of this second angle that we know is 20 degrees, so add that together, is going to equal the whole angle, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so we're going to solve this algebraically. So let's go ahead and solve it just like we do our two-step equations. I'm going to subtract 20 degrees from both sides. We're left with 70 degrees on this side and 2x on this side. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I get that x is equal to 35 degrees. Okay, so we've solved the first part here. We have x is equal to 35 degrees. Now to find out what WXY is, the measure of that angle, we have to plug in x to this expression. So we're going to do 35 times 2. So 2 times 35 degrees is equal to 70 degrees. So we can say that the measure of angle WXY is equal to 70 degrees. Okay, so here we have it. All right, I'm going to have you guys try one now. This is going to be a practice problem. All right, we have, let's draw a picture first so we can see what we're looking at. So this is going to be x plus 10 degrees is equal to 28 degrees. And just like the last time, we're going to give this a name, J, K, L, M. And this question is going to ask us to find x and also find the measure of angle J, K, L. All right, go ahead and pause your video for a moment. Give that a try. Oops, sorry, you can't see this. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. Give this problem a try. And then when you're ready to move on, go ahead and play and make sure that your answer is correct. All right, hopefully you found x in the measure of angle JKL. I'm going to go ahead and do this with you now. All right, first of all, I forgot to put my little square there. I hope you assumed that that was a complementary angle. All right, since they're complementary angles, we know that this is going to add to 90 degrees. So we're going to have this angle, x plus 10, plus this angle, which is 28, is equal to 90 degrees. Before I can solve this, I do want to simplify here. So I'm going to add 10 and 28. So I'm going to have x plus 38 is equal to 90 degrees. Next up is I'm going to subtract 38 from both sides. And I am going to get that x is equal to 52 degrees. Okay, so that's our first step. We found that x is equal to 52 degrees. Now we're going to plug into this expression right here to find out the measure of JKL. So x plus 10. So I'm going to go ahead and do 52 degrees plus 10 degrees is equal to 62 degrees. So we can say the measure of angle JKL is equal to 62 degrees. All right, let's go ahead and turn over our page and we're going to work on supplementary angles now. All right. Excuse me while I get situated for a moment. All right, so supplementary angles. Let's make a little note here. The measure of supplementary angles adds to 180 degrees. That's the key piece of information that we need to know. All right, so I'm going to go run through a quick review example. Okay, so let's say this is X right here, and this angle is 113 degrees. Okay, and we want to find X. Okay, well, this is a supplementary angle. It adds up to 180 degrees. So what that means is you have this angle, X, plus the measure of this angle, which is 113 degrees, is going to be equal to a total of 180 degrees. So I can solve for X. I'm going to subtract 113 from both sides. And I get that X is equal to 67 degrees. Okay. Now let's do an example that involves a little more algebra. I'm going to draw a picture of what this looks like first, and then I'll give you the information you need. Okay, so we're going to say that this angle right here is 2x. This angle right here is x plus 12. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find x, and then we're going to find the measures of these two angles. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the algebra first. This is a supplementary angle, so this angle plus this angle is equal to 180 degrees. So that means I'm going to add 2x, this angle, plus this angle, x plus 12, and it's going to equal 180 degrees. Okay? Well, before I do anything to solve this, I'm going to combine like terms. So 2x plus x is going to be 3x. And keep everything else the same. Then I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. And we get 3x is equal to 168 degrees. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And I get that x is equal to 56 degrees. Okay, now that I have this is great. This is what x is equal to. I'm going to go ahead and use this information to find out this angle and this angle. So first of all, let's find out the x plus 12 angle. We're going to take 56 and we're going to add 12, and we get 68 degrees. So that means the measure of this angle right here is 68 degrees. Now we're going to come over to this angle. 2 times x, well, x is 56 degrees. When we multiply this together, we get 112 degrees. 112 degrees. Now, if you want to make sure that you've done your calculations correctly, go ahead and add this angle and this angle and make sure that it adds up to 180 degrees. If I did that, 112 plus 68 is 180 degrees, so I know I've done my math correctly. Okay, now I'm going to have you try one. Actually, I'm going to have you try two here. here's number 1. I'm going to be a minimalist. I am just going to draw a picture, and you are going to find out what x is and what each angle is. Okay, so this is x, and this is 2x. And number 2. These are not drawn to scale, so just keep that in mind. Okay, oh, I'm sorry again, I didn't have that in the picture. Okay, go ahead and copy down those angles. Pause your video, see if you can find out what x is and what each angle is, and then we'll move on. All right, hopefully you've had a chance to solve for x and find each of the angles. I'm going to walk you through it just in case you had questions. So first of all, this is a complementary angle. So it adds to 90 degrees. I'm going to have x plus 2x is equal to 90 degrees. Well, I'm going to simplify this first. 1x plus 2x's is 3x's. And then I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And I get that x is equal to 30 degrees. So if x is equal to 30 degrees, then this angle is 30 degrees. And this angle, 2 times 30 degrees, is going to be 60 degrees. I'm going to double check. Does this add to 90? It does. So I know I've done this correctly. I found x and I found my angles. Next problem. This is a supplementary angle, which means it adds up to 180 degrees. So this angle, x, plus this angle, x plus 40 degrees, is equal to 180 degrees. So I'm going to combine like terms here before I solve it. Okay, so x plus x is 2x. Now I have a nice two-step equation that we can solve. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 40 from both sides. So I have 2x is equal to 140 degrees. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get that x is equal to 70 degrees. Well, this is great. So we know that this is x, so this has to be 70 degrees. Now x is 70, so 70 plus 40 is 110 degrees. Does this add up to 180? It does. So we know that our calculations are correct. All right, Bobcats, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.